Owen Blake walked through the glass corridors of the Orbital Military Academy. Feeling every stare that followed him, his worn canvas backpack hung from his shoulders, brown and faded from years of use. Around him, other cadets glided past with floating storage cases that hummed softly, their contents organized by artificial intelligence. Some carried sleek metallic pods no bigger than a briefcase, yet capable of holding entire wardrobes through dimensional compression. Technology. He was the first human to attend this academy. Earth had only joined the Galactic Coalition 5 years. Ago and the other species still viewed humanity as newcomers. Primitive newcomers, if Owen was being honest about it. A tall cadet with silver feathers and sharp golden eyes landed beside him. The sky species had wings that folded neatly against their backs. And this one looked at Owen's backpack like it was something pulled from a museum. "Is that really what you were bringing?" the cadet asked. His name was Wren, and he had made it clear from day one that he did not think humans belonged here. Owen adjusted the straps on his shoulders. "Yes, this is what I am bringing." Wren laughed, a sound like wind through metal chimes. "My storage unit can hold 3 months of supplies in a space the size of my hand. Your bag looks like it might fall apart if you pack it too full." Other cadets had stopped to watch now. A crystalline being named Dax tilted their geometric head, light refracting through their transparent body. "Curious, why would you choose such an inefficient carrying method?" "It works," Owen said simply. He kept walking toward the main assembly hall. The academy floated in orbit above Garrison 7, a planet used entirely for military training. Through the transparent walls, Owen could see the blue and green world below, so similar to Earth that it made his chest ache with homesickness. He had been here for 6 months, and every day felt like a test he had not studied for. In the assembly hall, hundreds of cadets gathered. Owen spotted Petra Vulov near the front, the only other human at the academy. She was 2 years ahead of him, and she had survived by being better than everyone else at everything. When she saw Owen, she gave him a small nod. It was the most encouragement he ever got. Commander Halris entered through the main doors. The Solomon commander had scales that shifted from green to gray, depending on his mood, and right now they were dark. His yellow eyes swept across the room and everyone fell silent. "Cadet," he began, his voice deep and rough, "you have trained for 6 months. You have learned combat strategy, technology, and tactics. Now you will face the final survival test." A hologram appeared above, his head showing a gray moon covered in sharp mountains and deep valleys. "This is Arcturus 9. You will spend 72 hours on its surface. The environment is hostile. Temperatures drop to 60 degrees at night. Magnetic storms occur without warning. These storms will disable most electronic equipment." Whispers spread through the crowd. Owen listened carefully. "You may bring 1 personal container of supplies," Commander Halris continued. "Choose wisely. Dropships will deploy you at dawn tomorrow. Extraction point coordinates will be provided. Reach it within 72 hours or you fail. Failure means removal from this academy." The hologram changed to show swirling purple clouds. "Magnetic storms are common. They last between 4 and 18 hours. Your technology may not function during these periods. Plan accordingly." Wren raised his hand. "Commander, our equipment is rated for extreme conditions. Surely the storms are not strong enough to affect military-grade technology." Commander Halris's scales darkened further. "The moon does not care about ratings. Cadet Wren, prepare for the worst." After the assembly ended, Owen returned to his small quarters. The room was basic, just a bed, a desk, and a storage locker. He pulled his backpack onto the bed and began going through it carefully. The pack had belonged to his grandfather, who had been a survival instructor in the old national parks back on Earth. Before he died, he had given it to Owen with simple instructions. Technology fails. Knowledge does not. This pack represents 200,000 years of humans learning to survive. Owen pulled out each item and checked it. A military-grade tarp folded tight, 50 meter of paracord, a metal canteen, water purification tablets, and a small filter system, a magnesium fire starter, a first aid kit with real bandages, not the synthetic healing spray everyone else used, a compass, a folding knife, duct tape, a signal mirror, a small pot for cooking, trail mix, beef jerky, and energy bars in sealed bags, a wool blanket, an emergency thermal blanket, coffee filters, a small bag of activated charcoal, a map and pencil, a basic radio wrapped in a special pouch. Everything was simple. Nothing needed batteries or charging. Nothing relied on computers or satellites. Other cadets walked past his open door and some stopped to look inside. A blue-skinned hydrant named Nara paused at the entrance. "You are really bringing that old thing?" "Yes," Owen said. "But Ren has the new OmniTool 9000. It has everything. Shelter generator, food synthesizer, water purifier, medical scanner, and emergency beacon, all in one device smaller than your hand." Owen folded his tarp and placed it back in the pack. "That sounds useful. You do not want something like that." "I cannot afford something like that," Owen admitted. "When human technology is not as advanced yet, we are still catching up." Nara's expression softened. "That must be difficult." "It is what it is," Owen said after she left. Petra appeared in his doorway. She looked at his pack and then at him. "You know they are all talking about you, right? They think you will fail immediately, I know. This test is important, Owen. If you fail, it makes all humans look bad. It gives them an excuse to say we do not belong here." Owen met her eyes. "I am not going to fail. How can you be sure? Look at what you are bringing compared to what they have." Owen zipped up his backpack and set it beside his bed. "My grandfather survived 3 wars and 40 years teaching people not to die in the wilderness. He survived with less than this. I will manage." Petra stared at him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Good luck tomorrow." That night, Owen lay in bed and thought about his grandfather's words. Simple tools, basic knowledge, the skills that kept humans alive long before they had computers or spaceships. He thought about Ren's expensive OmniTool, and Dax's confidence in their crystalline body needing almost nothing. He thought about the magnetic storms the Commander Halrus warned about. And he smiled in the darkness because he knew something they did not. When technology fails, the person with the oldest tools wins. The dropship's interior smelled like metal and recycled air. Owen sat on the hard bench with his backpack between his feet, watching the other cadets make final adjustments to their equipment. Through the small windows, he could see Arcturus 9 growing larger, its gray surface crossed with dark shadows from the mountain ranges. Ren sat across from him, holding a device that looked like a smooth black stone. He pressed his thumb against it and a holographic display appeared in the air. "OmniTool 9000, he announced to no one in particular. "Shelter generator rated forgative 100 degree. Food synthesizer with 200 meal options. Water purifier that can make anything drinkable. Medical scanner and treatment system. And an emergency beacon that can punch through any interference." Dax's crystalline form caught the light as they turned toward. "Ren, impressive. I require minimal resources myself. My body stores solar energy and I can enter a low-power state if needed. This test should be simple." "Easy for you both," Nara said from her seat near the back. Her blue skin had a wet sheen to it, and she wore a special suit that kept her hydrated. "My species needs constant moisture, but my purification system can convert any liquid, even my own body waste if necessary." Several cadets made disgusted sounds, but Nara just shrugged. "Survival is not pretty." Ren pointed at Owen's backpack. "What about you, human? Still planning to rough it with your grandfather's hand-me-downs?" Owen did not look up. "Yes. You know that thing probably weighs 15 kilos. Right? My OmniTool weighs 100 grams. My pack weighs 12 kilos, Owen corrected. "I weighed it this morning." 12 kilos of rocks and sticks, Ren said, and several cadets laughed. "I give you 6 hours before you are crying for extraction." The dropship shuddered as it entered the atmosphere. The pilot's voice came through the speakers. "Beginning deployment sequence. Cadets will be dropped at individual locations within a 20-kilometer radius. Extraction point is marked on your devices. You have 72 hours, good luck." One by one, cadets moved to the deployment doors. Some had wings and would fly down. Others had anti-gravity belts or personal landing shields. When Owen's turn came, he put on the standard issue gravity chute that would slow his fall. It was the one piece of technology all cadets received because the Academy did not want anyone dying from the drop itself. Ren stepped up beside him. "See you at extraction, human." "If you make it," Owen did not reply. The door opened, wind rushed in, and he stepped out into empty space. The fall lasted 30 seconds. Below him, rocky highlands stretched out in all directions, sharp peaks and narrow valleys. The gravity chute activated automatically, and he drifted down like a feather until his feet touched solid ground. The chute detached and flew back up to the ship. He was alone on an alien moon, and he had never felt more ready. Owen found a spot between 2 large rocks that would block the wind. He unfolded his tarp and used the paracord to tie it between the rocks, creating a slanted roof. He stacked smaller stones along the bottom edges to hold it down. The whole process took him 20 minutes. When he finished, he had a shelter that would keep out rain and wind and trap heat. Other cadets would be pressing buttons on their devices, letting machines do the work. Owen wondered how many of them had ever built anything with their own hands. He gathered dry brush and dead wood from a thorny plant growing in the rocks. Using his knife, he made a small pile of shavings. Then he struck his magnesium starter, and sparks flew onto the shavings. They caught immediately. He fed the small flame carefully until he had a proper fire. Smoke rose into the gray sky. The sun was setting and the temperature had already dropped. Owen checked his compass and looked at the paper map he had drawn based on the coordinates. The extraction point was 15-kilometer northeast, easy walking distance in 3 days. If nothing went wrong, he ate some trail mix and drank water from his canteen. Then he settled down to wait for night. That was when the storm hit. It started as a low hum in the air like someone rubbing the rim of a glass. Then the sky turned purple and lightning that was, not quite lightning began to arc between the clouds. The magnetic storm commander Halrus had warned about. Owen watched as his fire danced in strange patterns. The rocks around him seemed to vibrate slightly, and then, from his backpack, he heard static. From his radio, he pulled it out. The radio was old with physical dials and switches. He had wrapped it in a special pouch made of metal mesh, what his grandfather had called a Faraday cage. It blocked electromagnetic interference. He turned it on and heard chaos. Shelter generator is offline. Repeat, my shelter is offline. Food synthesizer not responding. Temperature dropping fast. Water purifier failing. System error. My beacon is dead. I cannot call for extraction. Voice after voice. Cadets reporting equipment failures. The magnetic storm was stronger than anyone had expected. All their advanced technology useless. Owen checked his equipment. His tarp was still tied tight. His fire still burned. His compass needle spun wildly from the magnetic interference, but it would work again once the storm passed. Everything else in his pack was mechanical, simple, built to work without power. He heard Ren's voice through the static, and for the first time, the sky sounded scared. This is Cadet Ren. My Omni tool is completely dead. No shelter, no heat. Temperature is 40 and dropping. Can anyone hear me? Owen looked at his fire. He looked at his shelter. Then he pressed the transmit button on his radio. This is Owen Blake. I am at coordinates Delta 7 near the Twin Rocks. I have fire and shelter. Anyone nearby can join me. Silence on the radio. Then Ren's voice again, quieter. You still have working equipment? I have fire, Owen said. Fire does not need batteries. My coordinates are Delta 7, that is 3 kilometers from my position. Then you better start walking. More voices came through the radio. Nara reported her position only 2 kilometers away, but her heating suit had failed. Dax was nearby, but the cold was making their crystalline body brittle. They needed warmth. Owen gave them all his coordinates again. Then he gathered more wood for the fire and boiled some water in his small pot. He made it strong and hot because they would need something warm inside them. 40 minutes later, Ren stumbled into the firelight. His silver feathers were ruffled and his whole body was shaking. He stared at Owen like he was seeing a ghost. You have a fire, Ren said. His voice shook. Yeah, Owen said. Sit down before you fall down. Ren collapsed near the flames, spreading his wings to absorb the heat. My Omni tool cost 6,000 credits. Top of the line, and it died in the first storm. Technology fails, Owen said simply. He handed Ren a metal cup with hot water. Drink this. Nara arrived next, her suit completely dry and cracking. Owen gave her water and helped her sit by the fire. Dax came last, moving slowly because their body had developed small cracks from the cold. They all sat around. Owen's simple fire under his simple tarp shelter while the purple storm raged overhead and their expensive equipment lay useless in their packs. Ren looked at Owen across the flames. I called your backpack primitive garbage. Yes, Owen said. You did, I was wrong. Owen poked the fire with a stick, sending sparks up into the night. You were not completely wrong. It is primitive, but primitive means it works when nothing else does. The storm continued through the night, but Owen's fire kept burning. Morning came slowly on Arcturus 9. The purple storm had faded during the night, leaving the sky a pale gray. Owen woke first, as he always did, and checked the fire. Still burning low, he added more wood and watched the flames grow. The 3 other cadets were still sleeping near the fire. Ren had his wings wrapped around himself. Nara's skin looked better now, not as dry and cracked. Dax sat perfectly still in what might have been sleep or some kind of standby mode for their crystalline body. Owen pulled out his map and checked the coordinates again. 15 kilometers to the extraction point, but now he had 3 others with him. That would slow them down, but it was still manageable. They had 2 more days. He checked their equipment while they slept. Ren's Omni-tool showed no signs of life. Nera's purification system had a cracked screen. Dax's internal navigation system seemed confused, probably from the magnetic interference. All of it expensive, all of it useless. "You are already awake," Dax said suddenly. Their voice sounded like glass chimes. "Force of habit," Owen said. "My grandfather always said, 'The early riser sees danger before danger sees them.'" Dax's geometric head tilted. "Your grandfather taught you many things. He taught me everything that matters. Why do your people rely so much on old knowledge? Other species develop new technology and leave the old ways behind." Owen stirred the fire. "Because humans come from a difficult world. Earth has deserts that can kill you with heat, mountains that can kill you with cold, oceans that can drown you, and forests full of predators. We had to learn survival before we learned anything else. That knowledge got built into us generation after generation. We do not forget it just because we have new tools now. But new tools are better. Better until they break," Owen said. "Then the old tools are all you have." Nera woke next, stretching her blue arms. "Did the storm pass?" "Yes, but it might come back. Commander Halris said storms last 4 to 18 hours. We should move while we can." Ren opened his eyes and sat up. He looked at Owen's fire, then at his own dead Omni-tool. "I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but I need your help, human." "My name is Owen," Ren nodded slowly. "I need your help, Owen." "With what?" "Everything. I have no working equipment. No food synthesizer, no water purifier, no shelter generator, nothing." Nera raised her hand. "Same for me. My suit is dead. I need water constantly or my skin dries out." Owen pulled out his water bottles and handed them around. "Drink slowly. We need to ration." "How much water do you have?" Dax asked. 2 Ellen bottles, but I can purify more." He showed them his filter system. "This is just a mechanical filter with activated charcoal. Gravity pulls water through it. No power needed. It is slow, but it works." He also showed them the purification tablets. "These are chemical. Drop 1 in water. Wait 30 minutes. Safe to drink. My grandfather carried these through 3 wars." Ren watched carefully. "Can you purify enough for all of us?" "If we find water, yes. There should be a stream about 3 kilometers north. The map shows elevation that suggests water flow." "Your map is paper," Nera said. "How do you know it is accurate?" "I drew it based on the terrain data we received before deployment. Paper does not crash." They packed up the camp. Owen showed them how to fold the tarp properly so it would not tear. He divided some of his food among them. Trail mix, beef jerky, 1 energy bar each. It was not much, but it was something. "This food is so simple," Ren said, chewing the jerky. "Just dried meat." "Dried meat lasts for months without refrigeration," Owen explained. "Humans have been preserving food this way for thousands of years." They started walking northeast. Owen led with his compass, checking it constantly as it slowly stabilized after the magnetic storm. Dax walked beside him, fascinated by the simple device. "A needle that points to magnetic north," Dax said. "So simple. Simple and reliable." The terrain was rough, all sharp rocks and steep slopes. Ren could fly short distances, which helped him scout ahead. Nera struggled with the climbing, so Owen tied a length of paracord around her waist and helped pull her up the difficult sections. "What is this cord made of?" Nera asked. "Nylon. Strong. Enough to hold over 200 kilo. My grandfather used it for everything. Shelter, climbing, repairs, even fishing line if you unravel it. One cord has many uses. That is the point. Every tool in my pack does multiple jobs. The knife cuts, press digs, and defends. The tarp is shelter, raincoat, ground cover, water collector. The pot cooks food, boils water, and carries supplies." Dax listened to all of this. "Your species thinks in terms of efficiency." "We think in terms of survival," Owen corrected. They found the stream just before midday. It was small, just a trickle running between rocks, but it was water. Owen set up his filter system and began the slow process of purifying enough for everyone. While the water filtered, he dropped purification tablets in bottles as backup. Ren landed nearby after scouting ahead. "The extraction point is still 12 kilometers away. We are making good time." "Any sign of other cadets?" I saw smoke from 2 fires in the distance. Some others are managing. Nara sat on a rock, soaking her arms in the stream. Her skin was already looking healthier. "Owen, why did you share?"